Let's move on,
job.
Jason. Cancel Colbert. That's what some Twitter users are demanding after the Colbert Report put out a now deleted tweet reading, "I'm willing to show Asian community I care by introducing the Ching Chong Ding Dong Foundation for Sensitivity to Orientals," or whatever. This set off a Twitter firestorm late Thursday night with people sounding off. Hashtag cancel Colbert because we really don't need another white liberal celebrity trying to justify racism. Using satire that ironically ridicules Asians is not productive for Indigenous nor any marginalised group. White humour blows. Hashtag cancel Colbert. And the one that started it all via Suey Park. White people, please keep hashtag cancel Colbert trending until there's an apology. This is not the burden of people of colour. Fix it. Do something. Joining us now is the author of that very same tweet, Suey Park. And also still with us is HuffPost politics reporter Jason Lincolns. Thanks for being with us, Suey.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Why cancel Colbert? What did you hope to achieve with that?
Well, that's a loaded question. I think it's sad, but unfortunately, a lot of times our demands aren't really met unless we have really serious asks or we generate these larger conversations. Unfortunately, people usually don't listen to us when we're being reasonable. So I think it's really to make a statement that this sort of thing happens weekly, that Asian Americans are always a punchline. And so I think we're just trying to make a point that people will be held accountable the next time they do these sort of things.
So just to clarify the context, the tweet was related to a segment that was lampooning Dan Snyder, who's the owner of a certain Washington, D.C. football team that has a racist name. It was meant to be satire. I mean, do you understand the point of satire, that you say something that's intentionally absurd in order to ridicule not the people who are the target of what you're saying, but other people who might say it?
Of course, I understand satire. I'm a writer. I think satire caters to the audience that you're speaking to, so it says something about what the audience finds humorous or acceptable when you're using those sort of jokes, and I think satire is supposed to punch up. So unfortunately, he's not doing that when he draws a parallel to Orientalism to make a point about Native American mascots.
But isn't his point that there are lots of stupid racist people who, even in their attempt to be conciliatory on race, end up putting their foot in it and saying something dumb?
I really don't think that we're going to end racism by joking about it. Like, I'm glad that the white liberals feel like they are less racist because they can joke about people that are more explicitly racist, but that actually does nothing to help people of color.
Why attack a satirical attack on Dan Snyder's racism instead of just attacking Dan Snyder's racism?
Well, if you're familiar with my activism or my work, I've been very vocal about Native American mascots. I went to the University of Illinois for my undergraduate career. We had Chief Alinowick, and I was incredibly vocal about it, and I had the same sort of backlash. And that kind of backlash happens no matter what you're really attacking, whether it be, the word Oriental being used as a slur, yellowface, jokes against Asian American people, or if I'm really just talking about Native American mascots and Dan Snyder. I know I helped trend Not Your Mascot on Super Bowl night. To fight, the name Redskins and Not Your Tonto, and I had the same sort of backlash. So it really isn't fair to kind of individualize these things and ask why I'm not shifting my behavior. Because honestly, if white liberals cared about really getting rid of the mascot, there's a lot they can do to help organize or get involved besides caring about their joke. So for them, it's not really about whether or not the Redskins exist or whether or not racism is over. It's really about them feeling like they can't have fun anymore and feeling entitled to be able to laugh at things that aren't really funny.
Jason, part of the whole gag here is the use of the term Orientalism, which is such a weird, old, loaded, it's a stupid word. But to get upset about the use of that word when it's in a satirical context strikes me as misguided. I want to take a look though at a tweet which Colbert Report has tweeted out. It says, "For the record, Colbert Report is not
as a white man, you don't."
Hang on, Zoe. I'll come to you in just a sec. For the record, Colbert Report is not controlled by Stephen Colbert or his show. He is at Stephen at Home. Sorry for the confusion. Colbert himself has responded to some of the criticism on Twitter. Hashtag cancel Colbert. I agree. Just saw at Colbert Report tweet. I share your rage. Who is that though? I'm Stephen at Home. Suey, you were just going to jump in.
Yeah, I was going to say that I feel like it's incredibly patronizing for you to paint these questions this way, especially as a white man. I don't expect you to be able to understand what people of color are actually saying with regards to cancel Colbert. He has a history of making jokes.
Sorry, being a white man doesn't prevent me from being able to think and doesn't prevent me from being able to have reasoned perspectives on things. I didn't give up my right to be able to have an intellectual conversation when I was born.
I know, but white men definitely feel like they're entitled to talk over me. They definitely feel like they're entitled to kind of minimalize my experiences, and they definitely feel like they are somehow exempt and so logical compared to women who are painted as emotional, right?
No, no one's minimalising your experiences. No one's minimalising your right to have an opinion. It's just a stupid opinion. I mean, it's a misunderstanding of what
You
satire
just called
is.
my
It's a
opinion
misunderstanding of what irony is.
stupid. You just called my opinion stupid. That's incredibly unproductive. And I don't think I'm going to enact the labor of having to explain to you why that's incredibly offensive and patronizing.
Explain.
I just told you I wouldn't enact that labor.
Okay, thanks for being with us, Suey. Jason, what do you make of this?
I don't know. I just was informed by the young woman that I actually don't have the right or the occasion to say anything on this matter. So I suppose I will decline.
True.
Out of respect for her.
Good point. Good point. As a white man, you're not allowed to have any beliefs. Thanks for being with us, Jason. Great to talk to you.
Sure thing.
Stay tuned. Plenty more conversations coming up right here on Half Past Live.